Permiso, buenas tardes. Buenas tardes con todos. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you?
Hi, Andres. How are you?
I'm doing well. Very good, Tutor Jack. It's a pleasure to see you here.
It's a pleasure, sir. Glad to be here. I'm very happy. I introduced myself to everyone, and then you arrived. This is great. I'm happy.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's just wait for the special guest and we're going to start.
We're all special, Andresito. We are all special.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Tutor Jack. Well, I say good afternoon to everyone here. Thank you so much for joining us to this program. The speaker in this program will be José Uribe. He is from Colombia. He is a professor, and he's going to talk us about the importance of the professional development in the EFL teaching or in education in general. So I think the topic will be very interesting for all of us. So just wait for some minutes, I think. Yes, Jose, we can hear you. Is okay?
Good. Yes, I can hear you guys. Good afternoon to everyone.
Yeah.
Who do we have here? How are you?
Hello, Jose.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah, we are exactly. Before you came, I was introducing you. We were talking about the importance of the professional development topic. No, this is the one that you are going to talk with us. But obviously, the teachers, they are going to participate actively. They can make comments. They can ask questions. They can probably politely interrupt you if they want to support giving expressing something. So do you remember that this is the interconnection, okay, that we are going to have with you. Hello, are you there?
Okay, I see that. Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here. I'm just setting my equipment here. I want to see everyone. Okay. All right. I see that have some people. Carmen, where's Carmen from? Where's she at? She's in Ecuador?
yeah.
Oh,
Carmen.
she is. Hi, Carmen. How are you? Well, apparently she can't hear me. What about Carol? Can Carol hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay, very good. All of you are in Ecuador just like me, yes?
Yes.
And
Okay, hello.
States.
Yes, I'm Ecuadorian.
In the United
from
States.
Turkey province, and I'm from La Concepción exactly.
You
Nice to meet you. Despite I can't see you. Are you there?
Yes, he's there.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that everybody is here. I was just trying to thank you, Andres. We had a talk a couple of days ago, and he wanted me to be with all of you talking about professional development. So, well, I'm here. Let's see how it goes. But I would like to I don't want to get into a situation where I'll be just talking and talking and talking. What I want to do is to actually have everyone to share information, to share what you have done with your classrooms. All of you are teachers from schools or universities? From
You can
schools.
Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening, Jose.
I'm trying to. Good
I am
evening,
Lillian.
good evening.
Yes.
Who am
I used to be
Lillian. Hi, Lillian.
working. I used to
Okay.
be
Well, we'll start. Yes, go ahead. I'm listening.
I used to be working in the university, but actually, since the pandemic situation, I'm without job. So I'm not working online really, but I'm taking courses and study a little bit more. In the meanwhile, I get a
Oh,
new
okay.
job.
So, so you're not at the university at the moment because of the pandemic.
Yes, I was there for over
Yeah.
9 years, but actually I'm without job.
Which university, if you don't mind me asking?
Universidad Católica de Cuenca.
Oh, in Cuenca. Okay, okay. I have visited Cuenca before. As a matter of fact, one of my friends, he's in the PhD that we're doing in Argentina. He lives in Cuenca. He's a teacher as well, and he's from Cuenca.
My cousin also is doing the PhD. Actually, she's finishing the program over there in Argentina too.
Oh, really? Which university?
I don't remember the name, but it's the one Andres offering us. What's the name?
Andres?
Yes, Andres Rodriguez. What's the university?
Why?
What university do you refer?
I don't remember the name. Can you tell me? You offered us a PhD with a university long ago?
Abierta Interamericana.
No,
Interamericana University, yeah.
no, es something.
Interamericana
Or Rosario.
University
Del Rosario,
in
del
Buenos
Rosario,
Aires.
del Rosario.
Oh, so it's UNL. Okay, National University of Rosario.
That one.
Okay, okay. Well, I don't know all of them, but very good. So I just want everyone that, well, probably able to ask Andres. He will probably tell you a little bit, or if you guys want after we finish, I'll be able to, if you provide me with, or you could just route it to Andres, your emails, so that I could email to you the program that we have on PhD in Argentina. So it's a program that probably you'll be very interested in.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, good. I was just trying to find out because just to see if everyone speaks English then. Okay, very good. Thank you, Andres, for inviting me. Now, to jump in, because we're going to be, what, half hour probably, no more than that. Today is my kid's birthday, and well, I took a little bit of time here to speak with all of you, probably just to share some of my experiences, and I would like to hear about your experiences as well. So I was just, what is professional development and why is it important? Sometimes it's very good to ask ourselves that, because professional development in EFL community, like us, you guys over there. So what is it actually? If someone can help me, what would you understand what is a professional development? And perhaps why is it important? Because we have to ask ourselves that question. It's a very important tool that was implemented in the 70s, 60s, and now it turned out that in the 90s, in the 90s, it was very strong. And from that year on, it's been a very essential tool for us as teachers. So if anyone, I want everybody to participate. Professional development. What is professional development? Can anybody share? That's the good thing about having classes online, because we are able to have the support on technical technology. You know, it's just right there in front of us. So what is professional development?
So you can activate
What
your
does it do?
microphone, teachers, and respond the question, or maybe you can text in the chat
Yeah,
box and we can read you.
I want everyone to participate. I don't want this to be like me and Andres interacting each other. Well, we know I can call them anytime and we could chat about it, but I'd like to know all of you. You know, it's something that through Andres, you can actually get my number, and perhaps if you ever have a question about anything, well, don't doubt about it and calling me, and perhaps I can help you. And if not, Andres is able to help you. But it's very important. Professional development. What does it do for us? It helps us continue to not only be competent in our profession, but also excel in it. I would say that it should be an ongoing process that continues throughout our careers. That's the way I put it, my way of seeing it. But everybody has a way of seeing it. And the idea is here for us to practice. There's not a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people would speak English. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Okay, so it's just, it helps us to continue to not only be competent in our profession, but also excel in it. And it should be an ongoing process that continues through our career. It never stops. We always learning. Every day we learn something. So why is it important?
To keep updated with the new
That's
trends.
right. To keep updated. It helps us to actually, and not only to keep updated, as long as we are updated, we are able to motivate our students. It's very important to motivate our students, especially if we have different types of levels. I'm pretty sure that some of us, me, probably Andres, and everybody out there, have had the experience of having very large groups in the classroom, plus different levels in English. So I could tell you a little bit. I was teaching UMET, University, Metropolitan University in Quito, and I could tell you that the level that I was handling was not the greatest. It was very hard, and it's very hard for us as teachers to actually get into the rhythm of a class when the level of English is not 100%, but at least 50%, 60%. So I have had the opportunity to teach in school. It was a private school, and I had the opportunity to teach second, third, and fourth graders. And That's one of my projects of investigation that I'm doing on my PhD, because I think it's very important that kids from an early age, they have good basis in English. So when they get to a higher level in high school, and when they get to university, they will have a very good level of English. So, all right. Professional development. What else?
Let me read
What
a
do we
comment
do?
here, Jose. Here we have Lillian
Was that
says
again?
that it is something
Oh,
that
okay.
helps us to keep learning professionally, and it is very important to understand our students in the way that we had been students permanently. So the idea is that we teachers assume the role of students permanently learning.
Right. We permanently learning. We actually sustaining, designing, promoting, delivering, and following up and evaluating. That's actually a professional development. That's what we all have to do. As teachers, we have a very difficult task. So I believe that it's very important that we keep it in mind that we always have to learn every day. And kids actually teach us when we're in class, you know. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of you have had kids that have the opportunity to travel to overseas, and they understand a little bit of English. Now we're talking about school. Now, if we talk with universities, well, probably a lot of you have had different experiences. Okay. Now, my question is, how we have been training and updating ourselves as English teachers? Now, we have to be training all the time and then updating ourselves as English teachers. So I don't know how many of you actually. Hi. Hello. So how we have been training and updating ourselves as English teachers? What have you, any courses you guys have been taking that you probably can share with all of us?
Permanently
Okay.
English teachers, we are taking classes, preparations, for example, when we want to improve our certification skills, which, for example, the B2, the C1, or we want to improve our methodology. We do follow courses like TKT, Diesel. Yeah, so we are constantly moving forward in different directions in order to improve and grow it professionally.
Right. It's very essential that we maintain updating ourselves. Very important. I always try to update myself in different courses. Now, that's when we are able, because all this, it has a cost. And sometimes it's very difficult for us to cover certain costs. And actually the system itself doesn't help us to cover probably half of it. So we have to cover 100% of it, and sometimes it's hard. So
It is. It is. And the kids are
yes, so yes,
motivated with
and
all
I
these
keep
new
saying,
apps.
you know, it's right. The kids are motivated, and we have to keep motivated because you never know what could happen. You know, remember that everything is curriculum. If you have the more certificates you have as um, in courses, and you have experience, well, the better it is, because you never know what could happen. You know, I might call Andres one day and say, hey, listen, at a certain university, they're looking for an English teacher. Or even where I work at, which I actually work for a foundation which is promotes PhDs internationals. So it's all about curriculum, and it's all about to learn ourselves to motivate kids. Now, I'm just looking at different things here. There's a lot to talk about. Let's see. Let's see, just give me a second. Now, remember that when we said to motivate our kids or motivate our teenagers at the university or schools, it's because we have to be prepared. Now, some of us right now, have any of you have traveled to overseas and or have had the opportunity to teach overseas? Any of you?
You have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, some of us have had the opportunity. So it's very important that when we come to Ecuador, to Latin America, and we provide this knowledge, we share this knowledge. Well, it makes us feel better, you know. It makes us feel very comfortable to ourselves inside of us. So we always learning. What else can we have here? Let's see. Let me. Now, I was looking. I was trying, because today, like I said, I came running to get involved in the conversation and the chat with all of you, because we have something going on in the house today. Not a lot of people because of the pandemic, but I'm looking here, something that I wrote, and some key questions to ask. For example, what would you like to work on your teaching practice? For example, when we are in a class, how do we manage? You know, what would you like to work on your teaching practice? That's a question. Another question, where do you see your students struggling in their language learning? And the last one that I have, what do you notice about your students' English production? So I just like to know what you have to say about it. I just want you to share, because I don't want to be just talking and talking, because my mouth is starting getting dry. So I just want everybody to share. What are the things that you do to motivate students in a class? I want everybody to share.
Jose, sorry to interrupt you. We have 2 minutes left, so
We have?
we are going to. Could you hear me? No?
Now I can.
I said that we have, so we're going to reconnect again, because that's 40 minutes, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is you're going to cut it off, or is it going to shut off automatically? Automatically.
From now we have now we have less than 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, less than 2 minutes. So yes, so when we get back, it's important that we share. I want everybody to share ideas. What is the things you do to motivate kids in the classroom? I have plenty of things that when I'm teaching, kids, and also when I'm teaching kids, well, we can call it adults when they are at the university.
I creating material and based on their interest, connect English with future careers and profession that they're thinking of about doing in the future. Like they're going to do nursing or medicine or whatever their interests are. So just connect English language with their interests and creating that with games and apps. But school system have to support the teachers paying, as you said, it's not free and it's limited. So we need the support from the school system to pay for those apps, because that's the way the students nowadays motivate to learn. We can do listening, speaking, and listening comprehension, reading, and these apps do everything for the teachers, and that's amazing. Creating the work for them once we know the students' interest.
The person that I was speaking with, well, I'm talking to, we're talking to everyone, but yeah, you were saying, but you're talking about levels of English, higher levels of English that you actually manage at the premises that you work for? I suppose it's yes, but yes. So let's continue on what we were saying. I was asking the key questions to ask is that what would you like to work on in your teaching practice? I would like to hear ideas so that I could learn from you too, you know, because I have different activities, as a matter of fact. For example, at the university, for example, which I use also with the kids, vocabulary, because English is all about vocabulary. I don't know how everybody manages your classes, but it's very important that when you teach vocabulary, it has to be in a fun way. So, well, we have technology now, which actually helps us, but I have a game that you actually write on the board, holiday, and you have to come up with verbs, and you have to actually run to the board. You run to the board. So you create, when you have large groups, you create groups, and you have to have some type of chocolate bars or something, so motivate the students. And at the same time, they're practicing English because they have to create a sentence with verbs. So I don't know if anybody is able to share any type of activities that you can actually share with us and that you do in class. Nobody. Okay.
Yeah, this actually with this new style of teaching, there is a requirement to keep a distance between students and teachers. So we have to modify everything and then use only apps on the computers where they can actually work in group, but from the distance, each one in different place, but they still can play vocabulary about shooting the word and matching the words, asteroids, letting the vocabulary match in a very limited time, which they think is fun, and it's they like always competition. But in teaching a class in university, in my past experience, they always have students with multiple levels. There's no such a thing that everybody's on the same level. Some students know more, are more fluent. They know that vocabulary already. So how to motivate the students who are, how to motivate the students who are advanced in compare to those who are just learning that vocabulary.
Right.
The one that the things that we can really now keep those students engaged is by doing these games with the computer. But as you said before, that is the free stuff is limited. So the system or the university have to support the teachers to pay for all those apps to be used with unlimited time to provide the students the service that they are now engaged. Because yeah, they always in the academies and university levels, you're gonna find students who know more than others. So that's how they feel not motivated if it's under their level. So the only way to motivate it now is just by making them work at their own pace and produce based on project levels.
Right. Well, that's
To come
true.
up with a final.
I actually agree with you. And not only that, you were saying not too long ago, you were saying that sometimes it's really hard because, well, you have to provide all those things that we need so that we could have the kids engage. For example, I wanted to show everyone what I did and what I have done with students at the university. But this is from schools where I have taught, and it's a map. So it's a map, and this I actually created it so that I could teach prepositions.
Mhm.
You know, so it's you actually pass it around. You actually pass it around, and that you ask where, for example, where's the library, and there's the streets, avenues, and they have to actually use the prepositions. So, but these are things that are not provided by the school or the institution where you're working for. So it's just money wise, it's time consuming, but it's because we love to, you know, what we do. So
Yeah.
those one of the things. The other thing that I have found, which I want to share with everyone at a university, which I have at my garage. I created a project for different groups. So I created groups and I give them projects. These projects have a score, and they actually have to sustain it. So, for example, they in a group of two, they have to do a project of what's the difference between a shark. What's the difference between a shark and a dolphin? So it creates a vocabulary for them. They have to actually share to everyone because they have to do an exposition about it. And that material, I actually kept it. Why? Because you keep it so that you can share with others, other classes that you might have, you know? So like that, you minimize the costs on you, on the teacher, because the institutions actually doesn't provide those funds for you to do. Like, for example, these, it didn't cost me too much, but it was just time consuming. And that's what I did. Okay, it's good that we're talking about the things that you do because and that we do and to find out, you know, like for example, like you were saying. Um, Another thing is where do you see your students struggling in their language learning? Where do we see where do we find them struggling in what?
It's speaking. They struggle in
And
speaking because it's practice. Now,
Yeah.
in writing, they don't struggle that much because they have the Grammarly to help them to correct all the mistakes. So, in whatever mistake they made on grammar. So Grammarly, that app that helped them to correct all the mistakes. So they they don't have no problem with writing skills.
Right.
But the speaking part, that's the struggle. So it's practice, practice, and practice, and based on project. And I like the project that you share. I want to share that project based that we're working right now with the students. Is they are describing their community where they live and a community that they wish they can move sometime in the future. And with a Google Maps, they can virtually visit many places, not only in their country, but anywhere in any place in any country in the world that they would love to move in 10 days or in 10 years. I'm saying, I mean, in 10 years and 5 years, that they can picture themselves. So they can virtually visit museums or communities and then describe the communities.
Okay.
I think that especially the student who like to travel. Some students don't, but if they like to travel, they just create that project where they virtually visit with the computer and then they create, and they have to speak. They have to come up with describing their community where they live in, or what in comparison to the one that they wish they live in 5 years or in 10 years, depends on the age of the students.
So in a way, when they explaining all this, they're using different time sentences. Present, past, future.
Future, past, present, and in future.
That's very
Not
good.
only that, but they give information as well. They share information with their peers.
Right.
About, I would like to live here because I like to visit this museum. I virtually visited the museum, what I saw in that museum. They can enter the Louvre Museum or the Prado Museum. They can enter anywhere with a computer, with the use of the computer, Google Maps. So let them research, let them bring findings and bring that information to the peers.
Do you actually have the time to do all this? Because it sounds very interesting, especially when they have to describe the place where they would like to live in the future.
They have the time. They have the time because they can record that. I don't know what, there's so many different ways to make them record their findings also and share with their peers. Like, you can use a Screencastify. Well, in the past, we used that to create Google Slides with the pictures, illustrations, and then record it and then share with their peers in one. But right now, everything's...
Very good. So you're actually multitasking because they're using technology at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. Okay, well, let's see. And the last, for example, what do you notice about your students' English production? And I mean, what do we see in our students? Because the institutions that we work for, we have to show production. And in other words, imagine you a full year teaching certain groups, and at the end of the year, they at least have to have vocabulary. They have to have at least communication skills. And that provides to the institution that you're actually doing a great job, you know? So it is very important. Okay, now, because I know our time is limited, but for example, the effective strategies for teaching large multi-level EFL students. What when we talk the effective strategies, it all combined to what we're talking about. It's the strategies that we use, but everybody uses different strategies. I use different strategy. The lady that was just talking just a few seconds ago uses different one. But I think everything is already invented. I would love to hear something that probably I haven't done because we talk about it and everybody shares. Probably all of us have done the same thing, you know, run into the board, looking for places, hide and seek. I don't know, going into fields and teaching science. I have taught science, so we become multitasking. Hello, no one. Andres.
I think it depends of the students' level of production. For example, uh, if you notice, beginner students they try to speak, no, with basic words, basic vocabulary that they have with certain topics that you really mentioned. For example, you show us
Yeah,
like a
it's a
city
map,
map, no,
a city
a
map.
map, no. Yeah, for example,
Mhm.
that's a topic for beginners where they can practice the preposition of places or giving directions, asking for places. Okay, so the interaction of those activities makes that they can use the cooperative learning. Remember that. Keep in mind the cooperative learning is when you when the mixed students you can use mixed kind of students, and the one who knows much, who expertise more language, proficiency in language, supports to the other students that are not so good in the language, and try to reach, you know, the linguistic goals. So it can be it can be a strategy
Right.
to support the students.
But I tell you, Andres, I have encountered, for example, at the University in America, I taught there for 4 years, um, and it was a very challenge task that I had because the level of English. I'm not saying that everyone didn't have a good level, you know, but of 100%, I would said that 75% of the students didn't have a very good level, and that's because they didn't have good basis from school. So when they get to the university, it becomes a very frustrating uh, situation. Why? Because English at universities, for example, in America, you have to take English, but it's not that you have to. In other words, you can actually take your courses and you enroll in the classes. If you enroll this semester, fine. Uh, I think it has changed now, but you have to have a sequence. At Metropolitan University, you can take beginners this semester, and then a year later, you take the second level. So you lose the track of information communication. So it's very difficult for us as teachers when you start teaching someone that have stopped for a while taking the classes, you know. So it's very
I
difficult.
totally agree with that. And even though some students come from different background schools, and some of them they never took English in their scholarship. So when
But
they are in the university, they are just looking the English just for the first time. So we expect that they know something already. The people who come from private institutions, they know a lot, and they only have to do an exam and be enrolled in the course just to figure it out that they learn it over there, but they don't. They
right,
just be over there, and the people who really needs to take, they take only basic levels because
right,
there is not something too important in our country.
right. Another thing that I would like to share, perhaps it will help some of you, but I have given projects like, for example, they have to have a
Hi.
video.
Hi.
Hi, who's speaking?
Hi, I think that, Teresa, I
Hi,
think that
Teresa.
the biggest problem in our country is that students don't have a global vision. They just study English for accomplish another a signature maybe, but they don't focus on their future because English opens a lot of doors around the world. It's a global
A lot of
language.
doors.
Yes, and
Right.
some
Yeah,
students
opportunities.
just learn the basic rules just for saying that they know English, but they don't practice a lot. That's the biggest problem.
Well, I can share that last week, one of my ex-students from Indo-America, like a couple of years ago, that he finished and he graduated, um, he called me to ask me if I was able to teach him, to put him in a level, because he was after a job at a bank. But at the bank, at this bank, they were asking him that he needed to know very good English, and he might, a little bit, but he had a lot of weaknesses. So I said, no problem, and I can help you. We could do it by Zoom. He says, okay, how much time do I have? He says, no, it's just next week. I have my interview. And I said, well, in 1 week, I am not able to actually put you to that level so that you could have an interview. So it's in fact the modern. We have to let them know that the fact is that the modern world is changing rapidly. Therefore, students, well, they need to learn at the university. What they learn now, they might become outdated by the time they graduated. So that's why it's a time of process. So we always in process. Good thing that some of us still have a job, because of this pandemic, but a lot of us have been, um, no job now. Things are very critical at the moment. For example, the lady that was talking, she's able to have classes online. That's right. It's online that you have classes. So
Yes.
presentials are very difficult right now. So it's a different modality now that we have to teach English by Zoom, or I don't know, even WhatsApp or any other application. So it's a new world for all of us to actually jump and screen and talk with 15, 20, 30, 40 people, 100 people,
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
it's very, very difficult. Let's see, what else? What else do I have here? I don't know, before our time kind of runs out. Let's see.
No, we have time enough in order to keep on this uh, presentation. Don't worry about that,
Okay.
Jose.
Well, in this, the topic that we're actually talking about, for me personally, this topic, I am super passionate about teaching English. Um, Maybe, I don't know, well, I have had small groups, large groups, but maybe some of you have had uh, large groups in your classrooms, uh, which can be a big challenge, And well, I would like to look at ways, and we're looking at ways. I'm hearing different, uh,
How many students you
information.
call a large class?
Well, you could have, let's see, 35, 40 students in a class is a very big
That's
group.
too much. That's too many.
Very big.
Yes.
That's too many. I mean,
That's
if you have 40
right.
students in a classroom, don't expect them to learn to communicate and develop the 4 skills of learning a language. Learning a language takes time, years, dedication, and only few
Yeah.
students at a time. If they want to learn to speak and communicate in English, they have to have a support of attending an academy, private lesson, tutoring, but do not expect from a class that have 40 students that a teacher,
Yep.
be a magician to make them speak English. That's not possible.
Right.
They can learn about the
Well,
language, but they're not gonna learn how to communicate speaking. Not with 40 students. So do not, teachers should not just stress, especially working for a public school where they have 40 students. Don't stress trying to make them learn to communicate and developing the 4 skills of a language. They can learn about the language. They can use their apps. They can use the technology to help them pronunciation, to help them present projects. But to stress to make the 40 develop the 4 skills, you're asking too much there. I mean,
Right.
it's the system. I don't think the school system is going to demand the teacher to make them learn how to communicate in English, because realistically, it's impossible to make them to develop the 4 skills. But they can learn a lot about the language. They can learn a lot about other areas where they can relate it with learning English.
True.
May I say
Actually,
something?
That's the problem in public schools, because we have as average 40 students by classroom.
You know that 40 students,
Yes.
they're not going to learn how to communicate in English.
Of course, they don't.
No.
And we have just 1 hour by day.
true. Yeah, well, they have 1 hour by day, but they have it every day.
Yeah, but
Yes.
still.
Yes.
There's a lot of students, and not only
Too many.
that, it's the goals that you have to have. You must have goals when you have a large groups, because I have managed large groups. I mean, I'm not there anymore because you actually burned yourself. And
you're gonna burn.
the institution actually, what it does is, I mean, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's not about money. It's about teaching properly to the students. Parents are paying for it, but when a parent actually knows that his kid is in a classroom with 40 students, that's when you have to take actions. But sometimes it doesn't happen. But that's why you have to have goals. And one of my goals was to examine effective classroom management techniques. What would be a technique? I don't know if how many of you have had that, that challenge of having 30, 40 students in a classroom. I'm not talking about Zoom. In Zoom right now, we are able to have 100, 200,
Hundreds, yeah.
Yeah, hundreds. And but when you have presential classes, examine effective classroom management techniques. So I had to have very good techniques in order for maintain them in pace. Now, also another goal is to promote ways to maximize language practice. So it's when you have in a class and you're teaching English, it's a task where everybody, or everyone rather, tend to speak Spanish while they're in class, because there might be 5, 6, or 7 that they don't like English, and they say, well, what do I need English for? And they just speak Spanish. And what you actually enforce to is for them to speak English. Now, explore ways to effectively manage the variety of student language levels. Now, that's when we have to actually have, how do we manage to divide the classroom when you have a project? The gentleman that was speaking, well, he has classes with different levels in different countries, which is good. I envy him, because he's able to communicate with different type of languages that people learn in English. When I went to Spain, you have we have to understand that when we're in Latin America, here after the 90s, 80s, as a matter of fact, it started changing the language. English have become more and more active here in Latin America. When I went to Spain, I saw people that would speak 5, 6 languages, no problem. But that's because they're in Europe. You know, you're in Spain and you want to move to France, you move for 2 years, you work over there, you learn the language, you go back to Spain, then you go to German and you learn Germany and so forth. But in Latin America, is very, very few people are able to actually go aboard. So it's just, but it's respectable, you know. And the idea for us is to enjoy, like the lady was saying, which I don't know her name, it doesn't show, but she's very right. I mean, you have to enjoy what you do. You know, if you are happy of what you're doing, and it's the satisfaction that you have when you have students that have learned English with you, that is a satisfaction. In, you know, students that come with English knowledge from other schools or other countries, well, it's okay. But when you have that when, you know, because to me, everything is a challenge. It's like I'm doing my PhD right now. To me, it's a challenge. Why? Because I have to move every 6 months for 2 weeks to another country. So I have to leave things behind for 2 weeks. To me, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for me to go to another country and start a PhD. It's not easy, especially when you have to work, you have to provide. Plus, on top of that, you have to study. So it's a challenge. Everything in life is a challenge. I don't know, some people might not like the word, but it is there, you know. But it's respectful, you know, I respect everybody. But what the lady was saying is true. I enjoy what I do, she enjoys what she does, and that's what counts, you know. It doesn't matter what you do, how you do it, doesn't matter. What matters is here that you enjoy what you do, and that's it. But anyways.
Exactly.
Right. Man, you could speak, you could have a very native accent, very good, you know, I applaud that. But you have to love what you do, you know, and that's it. It doesn't matter. Even if you teach a small classes or small classrooms, when I speak classrooms, I'm always talking presential, because to me right now, I mean, to be honest, teaching English over screen, you know, by Zoom or any that you may have, or the institution may have, again, the word is a challenge. We're learning how to do it. You need to be proactive. How you going to do it? You know, we have a small screen. You have to, you know, it's a very, I mean, it's not easy. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a good. It's a challenge. We have to modify depending our circumstance. What our students, as I say, to motivate the students is to find out what their interests are, so we can both enjoy. They enjoy the class, I enjoy the class, and everybody enjoys the class. That is the point. That's the challenge. When you move, it's not the same teaching in academy. It's not the same teaching in tutoring one-to-one, and it's not the same teaching to 100 students, multicultural students. I mean, there's so many factors that we have to modify our teaching styles based on what we have. I mean, I'm not going to sit down and complain that I say, oh, I don't have technology to use, and how am I going to? No, I have to create, to be creative, to make it work according to what I have in hands and what kind of students I have. So what I used to teach 2 years ago or last year, I'm not going to use the same because the students are different. Their interest is different. Their goal is different. So I have to find out about the interests of the students and what the school system is providing me as an educator so I can create and do the best I can with what I have. But I have to be realistic. I have to be realistic in order for me to accomplish the goals based on the reality that I have right now as an educator. And in the end, is have the students happily learning, no stressing. If I'm stressed, I cannot motivate my students. So the least stress
Now
I
they're
am
actually
as
going
an
to know.
educator. Yeah, and it's the better.
Yeah, they're
and
actually
it's
going to
better.
know if you're stressed. That's true.
Yeah, they's gonna
So
know.
it's
Yeah.
you know,
So
it's like a
the word, the student will never hear me the word I'm angry, I'm upset, because that's not, even if I'm upset and angry, that has to be at home, that has to be left at home. But when I'm in a class, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm joking, no matter what's going on through my life. But they never will see me upset, angry, at anything. Even though some students make you feel sometimes angry, but you take it in the funny side.
right.
They,
And not
I
only
mean, the
that,
ones who gets mad, lost.
and not only
So
that
we
is that
don't.
you only have 45 minutes.
Yeah, I
Perhaps
got
you have
90.
45 minutes in order for you
Exactly.
to start,
Yeah,
you know, stressing yourself
no,
and
he
showing
gave me
them that
45 minutes to teach,
right. That's
not
right.
to educate, not to react to the students. Luckily, right now they have computers, and anything that you privately a comment, send them a privately a comment, and boom, they will hear it. That's all.
Well,
That's
I can tell you one thing, and I actually take my hat off, and I vain actually. When you have 150 students, like the teacher was saying, you know, 150 students, how do you manage 150 students? Like you were saying also, when you
that's a
have 40,
challenge.
50, 100 students and you create a project, it's really hard to actually grade 100 students. It's not easy. And that's a lot on your shoulders, you know, it's a lot of weight. It's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders when you have projects given up to 100 people, you know. So, you know, I respect everybody, you know, like the teacher was saying that he will call number 78. Okay, what did you, well, everybody's listening and everybody's paying attention, I'm pretty sure, if you're paying for it, you know. If you're paying for it, you must, it's like I'm paying for my PhD. And when I fly over to Argentina, I better pay attention, because if I lose my semester, well, it's the only person that is going to be in problems is me, you know, my pocket, you know. So
But
I'm losing my time, you know.
Harry, he's taking his PhD in
It's difficult.
Argentina. That's why you want
Anyways,
to.
it's very nice. It's nice that we actually engage in information communication here. I see that a lot of people actually left, but the idea for us here is to have fun and to share what we do, you know. I'm not gaining anything, because people might say, oh yes, it's the Andres invited Jose to speak to everyone and to, you know, share information, or I don't know, whatever you want to might call it, and he's getting paid for it. I'm not doing it for, you know, I'm doing it because I love to. I love it. You know, it's my passion.
We all.
I'm not gaining anything, you know. But it's really hard when you get a negativism. It kind of gets into your heart, especially when you're not getting paid for it. So, but
Indeed, yes.
to me, it was a pleasure. I mean, it's fun. I want to actually share with all of you. It's only 6 of us, but I would love to share what I'm doing with the PhD, which I work for Fundacon. We have PhDs international, and there are programs in Buenos Aires and Rosario, Argentina. And actually, you don't have to leave your family, or you don't have to leave the
That's the
country.
information.
You are able to move every 6 months for 2 weeks. So you move every 6 months, 2 weeks. We starting a program this November. Just because of this pandemic, this year, students that are enrolled in this PhD are not going to fly over to Argentina, and it's going to be recognized in Tennessee.
That's important.
Yes, that's important because of the pandemic. But starting next year, we will have to be the March or April in Argentina for 2 weeks in Buenos Aires or Rosario, and in September or October. So it's two flights that we have to make next year. And the last encounter that we're going to have will be March or April of 2022. And after that, we have at University, Interamericana University, you have 1 year to present your project of investigation. So I would love through Andres to have emails or numbers where I can set through WhatsApp the information, and the teachers are able to read about it. And if they have any questions, all they need to do is just give me a call. And if you want to enroll, I can help you out with the bank and have everything. You don't have to worry about where you're going to stay, because we have all the mechanism where you're going to stay and who you're going to stay with, because you are going to be sharing an apartment with 3 other PhDs. You're going to share in order for you to save money, because this is what we try to do, save money. And it will be just an experience, you know.
Yeah, that would be, send on the information. I'm really very interested. Actually, we were thinking about going to Argentina to live for a year before the pandemic. Harry my husband is very interested in going to Argentina to do that university over there, because it's a lot cheaper than over here. So it's a good, we were thinking about living 1 year in Argentina or Spain for that same purpose. So he'd be very interested in the information.
Well, you don't have to now, because for the information that I have is, and that I wanted to send it to you, is that you are able to fly every 6 months to be absent from Ecuador, and from all you need to do is just modify your time patterns at your.
Now we would like to live in Argentina. Not fly every 6 months. Live in Argentina.
Well, if you're going to live in Argentina, you're able to do it, of course. But it's going to take longer for you to get your permanent residence, so that you're able to work and move around without any problems. But through us,
you have a student,
you don't have to, but
visa?
if you want to.
You don't get the student visa if you live there while you do that class?
No, when you could actually move to Argentina, and because the purpose of it is because you're going to study. Yes, the university is going to accept you, but you only are able to take certain courses. You're not able to take full courses because you are not a resident of Argentina.
Of Argentina, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's why this was created here, especially for Ecuador. For all Ecuadorians, that are able to move there every 6 months for 2 weeks and come back. And you don't have to leave your job, your family, you know. So
Be in Ecuador and go to Argentina twice a year.
you fly, and that's what I do. I have done it already. This September was going to be my third.
Where do you live?
I'm in Quito.
You mentioned that you work in Indo-America. Is that in Guayaquil?
No,
It's in Quito too.
in America is in Quito and in Ambato.
Because I used to work for Indo-America in Guayaquil, in Urdesa. It was a high school. But long time ago.
There's no Indo-America in
It might
in
not
Guayaquil.
exist anymore. Yeah, there was an Indo-America in Urdesa. Yeah. I remember that, but that was a long time ago.
I see.
Just more than
Yeah.
20 years ago. 30 years ago, bro.
Oh my God. But anyways, that's how it is. If you are interested, you know, I'll send you information through Andres.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
you can share with
Please
me,
do.
and I will share with my partners. Yes.
I share information. And nothing, you're welcome. You're welcome
Okay.
to.
We got to go. Thank you for the
enroll.
information. I'm really interested.
Okay. It was
Bye-bye.
very
It
nice.
was a pleasure. Thank you so much for this streaming. We keep in touch. Have a nice
Okay.
weekend.
Okay.
Thank you, Jose.
Andres,
Bye-bye.
thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Jose, for accepting. Glenda, Alba, Carlos, see you in these days, okay? So,
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, amigo Andrés y amigo Carlos. Thank you so much.
thank you so much. So we continue next week. We hope you have a nice weekend. So we keep in touch, Jose. We're talking about the PhD.
Sure. I send you information to your WhatsApp and you can share.
Exactly. Yeah. There we go. Bye-bye. See you.